Selena.
It's a vibe, baby. Oak Cliff girl, can't make you change my world. Damn, you're so fine, girl. Oak Cliff girl, put them heels on and rule my
Welcome
world.
to Selena's Couch, where you are welcome to be free to be yourself. So you can lay your head on my couch, on my pillows.
It's all good, we can do whatever we wanna do now. I'm in my bag right now, and I got a feeling, babe, yeah. You gon' be my number one lover. Screaming like making love to each other, with the lights on top of the covers, just me and you, babe. And I feel like you're my
Love you to Reese's Pieces.
Get you a word. Nana nana boo boo.
Hey y'all. I hope everybody is doing well. Look, this is a last minute live. I just said, you know what? I didn't go anywhere tonight. So I was just like, let me just come on and just say hello and maybe talk a little bit, chop it up a little bit with some people. Um, you know, um, I really just don't have anything like in particular in mind, but I know I want to have fun on this live. I don't want to do no drama. I'm not gonna be addressing any of the past BS that my name was popped up in. So if that's what some people are looking for, good luck. I play chess, not checkers. So some things I told you guys this year is a new year for me. I'm not doing a lot of BSing around the bush. I'm not doing no BS around the bush. I'm not gonna fake it, but at the same time, it's some things I'm not gonna even put my energy into. Okay. So I wanna just keep focusing on what I do best, and that's being myself and doing what I want to do and the type of content that I want to bring to you guys. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. You guys are more than welcome to pop up. It's a few things I want to discuss that I had seen on YouTube, not in this sector. So, but I'm talking about overall some of the things that have been going on in the news. They said Pope Francis died. I believe he passed on Easter Sunday. I'm not sure about this. So don't, you know, I would say I don't want to about his death, the day of his death, but I think it was Easter Sunday for those who are Catholic. And what else has been going on? We've been having a lot of bad weather around the nation. Thank you so much, Cece. Yeah, we've been having a lot of bad weather. What else has been going on? Was always a new shooting every time we turn around. So it's always something going on in this world. So there's a lot to cover, but I saw some stories on here and I don't know if you guys are interested in it, but I thought it was so interesting to me. I be watching Dear Future Wifey. That is a show. He is a director. I forget his name, but he's a director. He did a lot of like plays in the Dallas area, and this podcast is really popular. I did a reaction, I think a couple of years ago when y'all remember when what's his name, Derek Jackson, and his wife were going through what they were going through, and then they went on there talking about their relationships and stuff like that. So sometimes he'll have single people up there, and sometimes he'll have um sometimes he'll have like married couples up there, and some of these married, like nobody's marriage is perfect, but some of these marriages that they be talking about like on here, they be a hot mess, right? And then they put God in the center of everything. So I'm like, okay, to each his own. But I was looking at some of this and I'm like, I don't. Do these people realize how goofy this look? But that's just my personal opinion. Okay, CC, shout out to you. Thank you. And so I wanted to show you guys this, and then it was some other things that was going on. It was another video I want to show you about this older man giving his wife AIDS. Hey, how are you doing, Ray Ray? Giving his wife AIDS. And I was like, what? This guy was 60 something years old, and I think his wife was 63 or 62. She had cancer, but she ended up finding out while she was having cancer that she ended up having AIDS. So the man gave her AIDS. So God knows he probably was sleeping with men and women. This was in Atlanta. So you know how that go in Atlanta. So thank you, Ray Ray. I appreciate it. And it was just really interesting to me. So I'm gonna share some of this with you. I did put the link in the chat. If anybody would like to come up, Lions Den. I ain't seen you in a minute. Anybody that want to come up, you're more than welcome. This is just like I said, just having a conversation for those who want to come up and talk. But I wanted y'all to see this because I was just like, something ain't right about this. But hey, to each his own. Now they have a church, and they have like over, I think, 10,000 people in their congregation. And the wow story that they talk about, how they met, and how long they were, how long they went through the things that they were going through. Partially it was some of his fault because he was a habitual cheater. And she, to me, at one point, from what she sounded like, she was like uh to me, she was very weak. But for some women, and maybe in her opinion, she felt like she was being strong and she was holding the house down. But I'm gonna let y'all look at this and see how strange the story is. But again, everybody's struggle is different, everybody's marriage is different, and some people will put up, others won't. And I try not to ever say I'll never do this or I'll never put up with that, because you don't never know what you do when you're in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So but I don't know. This is very crazy, very crazy.
Son already, who was 11 and a half months. Yep. She was pregnant with our daughter Mariah, who's now 31. Mm-hmm. And so it was tough.
Yeah. You was conflicted with what? You got cold feet?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, so he was an hour late to their wedding. That's another red flag. An hour late because he got cold feet.
Plus, I've been out the night prior, my bachelor's party with the fellas. And
what happened at the bachelor party?
Man, I've learned in life some things you need to take to the graveyard.
Oh, come on. We know what happened at the bachelor party.
Whatever happened made him an hour late. It made him conflicted.
And I kept on paging him.
Right.
911.
Yeah.
Because there was pagers back then.
Yeah, because you got to remember, this was 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And my mom even came to me and said, Kelly, sometimes these things happen. Mm-hmm. But I know he'll show up. And he showed up.
So you said you knew he was going to show up?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because I know my man. I knew he was just, out late last night, the night before. And I just had no doubt.
Well, I can tell you right now, he definitely will get hit upside his head a few times. What's up, SBK? He definitely get beat up upside his head a few times. I believe in keeping my hands to myself, but I think in times like this deserves a good butt whooping. That's just disrespectful. Not only are you an hour late to our wedding, but you decide that you want to get freak nasty the night before with some strippers. So I'm feeling away. And we will not be walking down the aisle. Now I just have to be embarrassed, and people just gonna have to take their gifts back. But there's no way in heaven or hell I'm walking down the aisle with somebody that not only is an hour late, but like I said, was getting butt naked and doing God knows what with some strippers.
So Reggie, take me back to that moment. You were how old? 21. 21. Mm-hmm. So you're 21 and you had some extracurricular activities the night before, which I always think is the craziest thing that we normalize before we get married. We normalize having the strippers. We normalize saying, hey, get your last piece before you say I do. And now you're bringing that into your covenant, trying to unravel what you just did the night before you take this the most.
Now, y'all, before I keep going, I'm going to need some brave souls. I need a woman. I need some women. I need a man or some men to come up and let's have a conversation. Let's make this live pop. Selena's couch is not anything unless somebody's on her couch. So I need some brave soldiers that are not trying to porn bomb me, but actually want to have fun and have a good conversation. So please do me the favor and join Selena's couch. The link is in the chat, or I'll put the link in the chat and you guys can join.
Beautiful step and create a covenant with a woman, but you bringing that into it less than 24 hours prior. Why do you think that is?
You know, I think that how sometimes we're wired, even as young men, you're going to have what I call human moments.
Yeah.
Even the Bible says in Isaiah 40:30 that young men would utterly fall.
Right.
So let's just say I was fulfilling scripture.
Okay, yeah, that's funny and all. But yeah, people just need to learn to start taking responsibility for their actions. Let's stop hiding behind the Bible, okay? Let's really stop doing that. I hate when people do that. Like just and you know, ministers and pastors, they have that bad condoning their sin by using scripture. Let's just take accountability for it. But maybe he was just joking.
Utterly, which means absolutely. Romans 3:23, all have sinned and come short of the glory of God.
You said you're gonna take that scripture, get it tattooed on your chest, and live it, huh? And so, but man, you were assured, you were blessed assured that he was gonna show up.
Well, before we got married, we dated in high school, and in high school, I knew that I was number one, but I knew when I met him, he told me, you know, you're my starter, but I got other ones on the bench, you know.
That right there would make me run for the hills. There's no way I'm gonna sit up here and a man tell me I'm his starter and the others on the bench. No, either I'm the one or you trying to get to know me. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for none of that. I'm sensing right here, as you know, and a lot of young women are like this, maybe because they don't have no fathers in their lives or they have not been taught how to value themselves. But a lot of young women think that's cute. I've never been one of those ones. So when people want to say I had low self-esteem, I didn't have that much low self-esteem because there's some things I'm just not going to put up with. At 16, when I was coming up and a boy would tell me something like this, I would have just walked off. I'm like, nigga, please. That would be my word. I'm like, you got me all the way messed up. And so I don't know, but you know, some of these people be having some issues and they put up with some stuff that they don't have no business putting up with. Easy, I thought you was taking a break, but thank you, because ain't nobody else brave enough to join the panel.
Well, they say ain't no beef, so I mean, I decided just to give it a shot, you know.
Yeah, it's not no beef. Because listen, I could go that route, but then I have people playing my content that I can't stand. So therefore, I want to focus on something else that's going on in the world.
Understood.
Yeah. So I don't get this. So this don't make sense to me. Have you ever told a female you're the starter, but the other ones is on the bench? Like, what? Have you ever told somebody that?
I mean, well, you talking about as in like in general, like a single man?
Yeah, maybe. Single, married, whichever.
I mean, if I'm single, I mean, and if I got more than one female, I mean, ain't no starter or no bench or nothing like that. See, I can't speak for every man on that point right there, because I mean, every man's different, you know. I mean, if I was single, like before I was married, yeah, I had friends, but it wasn't no first, no first screen, second screen, or no shit like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So now do you have a daughter?
Yes, I do.
If your daughter came to you and she said, Daddy, this guy, when she's a teenager, and she's like, this guy has said I was the starter, but the other ones are on the bench. What would you say to your daughter?
They ain't the type of nigga you need to be messing with.
That part.
Number one.
That part. We ain't doing none of that. Like, that's crazy to me. My dad
That's
didn't
just
have to
point blank.
tell me. I already knew. Yeah, I already knew. I'm not putting up with that.
And what else would you tell me, baby?
That you my point guard.
Yes, and that you love me,
but I like them.
Right. So I was in a
Oh, you love me, but you like them. So that made her feel like she had one up on the other women. Even though she wasn't the only woman, she felt like superior because he let her know that you're the one that I love, even though I mess around with the others. You can't get any more lower in self-esteem than that. And I'm not trying to, well, maybe I am judging her, but she was a teenager. She was young, right? And most young women, if they depending on their family life, they don't really know how to value themselves. And if your mom and your dad don't instill something in you, even though life will try to beat it up, beat you up on a lot of things. If you don't have people in your life, a family in your life that will instill something in you, or people that mentor you, that instill some kind of value in you, you're not going to value yourself. You're going to accept any and everything because you feel like that's what you deserve. And unfortunately, I don't think she maybe even had that in her life, because if she did, she wouldn't have allowed this to happen. But let me keep going.
Relationship I was okay with that as long as I was first. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. I want, the women to know out there, I didn't know Jesus. I didn't, know who I was. What'd you say, babe? I had no value.
No, you had no value. You had no worth. You did not know who you were.
He said you didn't know your self-worth.
See, and then you tell me, Easy, if I'm right. Men can kind of pick up if a woman doesn't feel like she has value about herself, or she has low self-esteem. Can they pick that up?
I mean, yeah, we see that every day.
Give me some examples.
Well, for example, but this is just me here. I mean, this is my opinion. If I see a woman, pretty much just, letting everybody see everything, skimpy ass outfits and shit like that. If that's all she wears and shit like that, my opinion, you were kind of seeking for attention that you ain't never had, or you just not. How can I say? You're not there mentally.
Okay.
Because like you be having some of these women that be wearing skimpy ass outfits, but they don't like men looking at them. Well, throw some damn clothes on.
Right. That part. Yeah, if you don't want men staring at you, you might need to wear something different, or wear something a little bit more modest. That's another thing I want to talk about too, how as women, sometimes we can thirst trap, sometimes knowingly and unknowingly. And then how to dress modesty, what is modesty, things like that. And women always, it's some women, especially like you go to the gym. You go to the gym, you see some of these women, they half naked. It's like, why are you coming to, and that's their body and their clothes. But I'm thinking to myself, you want somebody to look at you. Then when men are looking at you, you want to catch attitude. But why? You are showing everything you wanted to be advertised. So you can't get mad when other men are staring at you when you're half naked in the gym. And that goes for just walking down the street, or going to work or whatever. If you're dressed revealing or you're dressed in a way where it's very seductive, people, men are going, even women are going to notice that. They're going to stare because we are visual beings, all of us. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's pretty interesting. I don't even know how we got on that, but let me keep playing.
Right. And I'm 17.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm a teenager, and I was preconditioned to think this way because my mother divorced my father for infidelity, and I'd always thought
so there's a pattern. The reason why she keeps being drawn, she was drawn to this guy who was also a womanizer because her daddy was a womanizer. So this girl already had, to me, she was set up for this because her mom put up with it for a little bit, but then her mom ended up divorcing the daddy because he was a womanizer. And then she was mad, she ended up being mad at her mama for not staying. So she gonna prove to herself and everybody that she gonna stay with her man. And she's still with him. I think they've been together for 30 something years.
Could just forgive him. Our family would stay together.
Oh, that's deep.
So that was not a deal breaker for me, as long as I knew about it. Now he knows if I found out about it, we'd have a problem.
But if he told you in advance, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
So if he said, "Hey, listen, tomorrow I got this little shorty lined up. I'm gonna go run through and I'm gonna smash it. I'll see you the next day."
He would never say that.
It was usually after the fact.
Yeah.
Hey.
What are we laughing about? Easy, you can jump in at any time. But what are we laughing about? That's nothing funny. I don't understand. I like to joke and I have a sense of humor, but this is not funny. Why would that be funny? Am I the only person that doesn't think this is funny? Yeah, I don't understand. Now, I believe in forgiveness, but damn all that. We not laughing. This is nothing funny. Yeah, no. You have anything to say, Easy, or you want me to keep playing?
I ain't got no comment. I'm just sitting back listening. Boy, this is crazy.
This is some crazy mess, and it's all in the name of God. So I believe people can have testimonies because there's some people that have been through some horrible things in their marriage and they overcome, but they kind of take it like a joke or take it, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a very big deal.
I just don't see.
Go ahead.
I just don't see why people be, people be putting their personal business out there like that.
That part, maybe they want to be a testimony. Huh?
I said that's just my opinion upon it.
Well, maybe they want to be a testimony to other people, but I think that's crazy as hell. That's just my opinion.
I had a hiccup last night. Just heads up.
Yeah,
you say after the fact. Right. As long as he confessed prior from you finding out, you said that's cool. Yeah. That's okay.
In fact, before he married me, he's like, I don't know if I'll ever be faithful. And I said, that's okay. So I walked down the aisle knowing I was marrying his worst, meaning that if he were to do something, the worst would be him stepping out.
And then in your marriage, were y'all faced with that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How soon?
Off from the gate. Yeah. I came from, my dad had 10 kids by 6 different women.
Wow.
So I have 6 brothers and all of us, just kind of womanizers, if you will.
Yeah.
Exodus 20 verse 5 talks about how the sins of your forefathers will visit you. Well, I'm telling you, them demons visited me for real. And so, even my dad, who was in my life for 48 years until he transitioned, he always told me that would be a struggle because that was his struggle.
Right.
And it was my brothers who are older than me struggle.
That's real.
And so that's the demon that we just had to fight.
Right.
So did he tell you it'll be a struggle?
Yeah, it's a demon, but it's a lust. That's just lust. People struggle with lust. We all struggle with lust. Okay? If you are a human being and you have sex organs, you sometimes will, depending if you're asexual, that may be different. You're gonna struggle with lust. That's just life. That's a part of being human, I guess. You just have to learn how to control your passions, your lust, or whatever. So yeah, people want to be so spiritual and stuff, but just call it for what it is. It's just lust. It's people that can't control, they don't have any self-control, and they want to stick everything that's moving or stick everything that looks good. Let's just call a spade a spade. I don't know why people, and I notice people in the church do that a lot. They over spiritualize stuff and just call it for what it is. It's just lust. And again, these people could be wonderful people. I'm not trying to make these people feel, come off like they real stupid, or they just I don't understand it, and some of the things that they be laughing about I think is crazy, but I don't want to make it seem like I'm coming down on these people. But the fact of the matter is, this is weird. This is really weird to me. Do you have anything to say, Easy?
Maybe they should just have an open relationship. I mean, if all of that. I mean, if he gonna step out and shit like that and she cool with it, why not just make it an open relationship?
That part, but they can't really do it because I believe he's a pastor of a non-denominational church. So, unless he, like some religions, like a Hebrew Israelite, some of depending on, huh?
Some of that group stuff.
Yeah, some of them believe in, having multiple wives, if that's what they choose, and some of them don't. It just depends on the person, I guess. But he might as well do something like that if that's what he want to do. Hi, Brian, how are you? Thank you for coming through. I hope I spoke to you. Pretty brown eyes. Hey, Randy, thank you for coming through. Hey, Don, good to see you. What's up, Hennessy girl? Now, Hennessy, this is not we ain't got no drama over here, so I might bore you over here a little bit, but hopefully you can find something amusing. We'll see, KJ, what's popping? So I have the pin link. I have the link pin, sorry, at the very top. For those who would like to come up, you're more than welcome. Okay. I'm all right. You from Kentucky? Shout out to Kentucky. Okay.
But tell you, son, you can overcome it? Did he try to tell you tools, or did he just say, this is just who we are, men are men?
He said, that's who you are, men are men.
Right.
And he said, but the one
lie. Well, maybe not a lie. I don't know. You're a man, so go ahead. Because I sometimes jump ahead. Is that true? Are men meant to be? Can men be monogamous, or are men? Is it in their nature to have multiple women? Like, what do you think about that, Easy?
I mean, well, I say, how can I say this? Well, without speaking for all men, I'm gonna just speak for myself. I mean, yeah, I look at other women, but it's not, like to gaze at them or nothing like that. I look and be like, oh, that looks good, and then keep it moving. Now, a man can be monogamous.
Okay.
If he chooses to be.
If he chooses to be. Okay.
Yeah, if he chooses to be. It's all about choice in this situation.
Okay, choice. So what his father told him set him up for failure, because his father said, this is just who you are. You a man. So basically his father set him up to be a whore. Because I don't care. I think it's a double standard. They want to call women whores for sleeping with multiple men and having, like dating a lot of men. But why don't they have the same standard for men that do that? Like, you're a whore too. I think, but no, the men are seen as a player. Y'all see it as a pimp, as a player. Like, y'all got it going on, but the women, she's a whore. She's a manipulator.
Nowadays, we call misogynistic womanizers and all that, and narcissistic and all that. I mean, come on now. They got plenty of names for us.
Yeah, y'all got some names, but to me, it's y'all. To me, when they society, it's been seen. Even when I was, coming up and going to school, when guys would have a lot of girls or girls that liked them, they were like the player, they were like the playboy. But with the girl, it's like, oh, she's a whore, she's a hoe, or it's like it's something negative to me. So we can't deny that, okay? I don't care how you try to twist that, even though y'all have y'all negative terminologies as well. But when it comes to women, it is deemed to me more disrespectful how they look at women, because they feel like as women we have to be modest and we have to be in control of our bodies. Well, why don't people teach their boys that? But you know what? Most men teach that. Nah, I'm not gonna say most men, but it's society teaches men, go sow your royal oats. I hope that's the right saying. But go sow your royal oats. Basically go out there and stick anything you want to stick. And then when it's time to settle down after you worn out and you have to take Cialis or Viagra to keep your thing up, go out there and just whore around. And I remember, and this was back when I'm gonna just say, it wasn't too long when I got out of high school. I worked at after I got out of high school, I started working at a vitamin store. And I saw so many young men my age and a little older would come in there getting the sex pill. There was a sex pill behind the counter that these young men were going and getting. And I'm like, why do they need that? Is it because they have used their dick up so much that, and forgive me for being vulgar. That's not what I'm not trying to do that. But is it because they've been out here, and I'm just going to be honest, just dicking everything down, and then they lose their energy or something, and they have to go and get a sex pill at 20 years old? Like, this is crazy to me. But I think it's because they've been having sex so early, just going out there, sticking in anything that's moving. And then when they get in their mid to late 20s, then they need some help. And don't get 30 and 40. They're really going to need some help. I'm just like, you're just worn out, So anyway, I just had to say that. But let me just keep going because I have some crazy stories.
I think with you, he said, I'm hoping you don't spread your seed like I did with 10 kids, 6 women. He said, please get one woman and have all your children by her, which I've been able to pull that off. We have 5 adult children who we had 5 kids in 6 years, 11 months and 16 days.
Wow.
3 boys, 2 girls. And now we almost got 6 grandkids. Well, 5.5 right now.
Right.
So we're in that season now.
Yeah.
So you felt like you still honored your father's request by not spreading your seed amongst everybody.
That's right.
But you succumbed to the ideology that, hey, men just can't be faithful.
That part. It's interesting. I was out shooting craps one night at this place, and illegal place. And so while I'm shooting dice, this young lady was with me. It wasn't her.
No.
And one of the gentlemen, he said, hey, man, is your dad Alonzo still? I said, yeah. He said, I remember when he would come in this same room and he would have different females with him. And to me, that was a flex. I'm like, that's what's up. And then this older gentleman, he said, is your grandfather Lil Burn still? I said, it is. He said, I remember when he used to come in this same room and he used to have different women with him. When he made that comment, it wasn't cute. Now, when the gentleman who knew my dad, that was cute. But when the second gentleman said it about my grandfather, I was like, wait a minute. At the time, my son, who's 33, he was 3 at the time. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is going to go from Lil Burn to Alonzo to Reggie and then Isaiah.
Right.
And so when I left that night with the young lady, normally I would go upstairs and, do what you do. And I dropped her off and kept moving. I drove home scared that night because I was like, wait a minute, because I grew up in church. I was saved, but I wasn't delivered.
So how old were you during that time?
21, 22 years old.
So that was at the beginning of your marriage?
23, exactly, 23.
So a couple of years in your marriage.
Yep.
And you were okay being out in public with women.
Right.
She was okay with it. But that moment, you had this Kairos moment where you was like, hold on.
Right. Exactly. Because I grew up in the pews. My dad pastored for almost 40 years. So I still had an awareness of God. And so, but that scared me that night. That did something to me.
So from a spiritual standpoint, you watched your father be unfaithful, live that life, preach the gospel, probably was dynamic with it, was amazing.
Sure.
And you accepted that this is just how men are. And men of the cloth.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Was your grandfather pastor?
Deacon. Yeah. So yeah. And see, the Bible says in Romans chapter 7, verse 18, that there dwelleth no good thing in the flesh.
Right.
So in other words, we all have an evil nature.
Absolutely.
Through God's grace that we're trying to manage.
Yes.
You know, and that's a daily thing, because I believe you could, like I said earlier, you could be saved and not delivered. You know, deliverance is a process.
Absolutely.
And that's why one of the things that have helped me is Isaiah 58:6. It says that when you fast, you loose bands of wickedness and you undo heavy burdens. So my wife will tell you, there's been many days where I've had to push my plate back to fight my own personal demons, because we all got them.
That's good.
Well, he ain't lying about that. So let me not put myself on the pedestal, because I know I got my own struggles. And so he was saying that, you know, he accepted God into his heart, but he still had a lot of things, or demons that kept him in bondage. And one of them was lust, you know, not being able to be in control of his body. Do you have anything to add to that, Easy?
You not saved until you gone from this earth.
Okay, well, we're not okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, saying they, that they found God or they got saved or like that. But see, I mean, people say that, but they still out doing the same thing. That's why I say that you not really saved until you gone from this earth, until you gone from this body that you got.
Yeah, the glorified body. Brian,
Exactly.
okay. Well, shout out to you, Brian. I hope that you keep on your healing journey. And that you know, God gives you the strength that you need to keep going from day to day. So shout out to you, Brian. You said next time you have sleep and drink done kicked in. Well, that would be fun if you were up here being a little tipsy. Shoot, I might give me some. Yeah, I might give me some Don Julio so I can loosen up.
But hit the link, bro.
Yeah, rap money tripping.
Yep.
See, what I love about you, Reggie, is that you're 1000% transparent.
Right.
The reason why I love you is because my whole podcast was built off of that. I said, we need to find healing. I said, I was broken. I was 5 years post my divorce. And I said, I can't be the only person.
Now, he cheated on his wife too, multiple times. Matter of fact, the man that's talking right here in the gray. So that's one of the reasons why he started this podcast called Dear Wifey. So that's pretty interesting hearing his story. I might have to do a reaction of his story too.
Struggling like this. I can't be the only person that is a Christian that struggles with things of the flesh. And I said, I want to create a platform that would provide for others what I wish was provided for me.
My God.
And I said, I'll sit at the feet of people and learn. And it came from the scripture, confess your faults one to another so that you may be healed.
Sure.
And so I said, okay, God, all right, I'm going to do that. And the Bible says people are overcome by the word of your testimony and by the blood of the Lamb. So I said, God, I want the blood of the Lamb to be the foundation of this podcast. And I want this platform to be a platform that helps people overcome. And when I say that you two are the epitome of the foundation of what this podcast represents.
Praise
and
God.
I honor y'all for walking in this thing called marriage and this walk of Christ and saying, hey, listen, y'all ain't got no stones to throw at me.
Right.
Because hey, listen, I walk freely.
Right.
And that's what I love. I want to back up.
Y'all think I'm being too judgmental? Do y'all think I'm being judgmental of this situation?
A little bit.
Okay. And that's why I need people like you to kind of, you know, I am very strong-willed. Okay. That can be a disadvantage for me to an extent. But
I mean, there's nothing wrong with opinions. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's not gonna agree or disagree on the same thing, you know. So I mean, it's cool.
Right. So, I'm sorry if I'm being judgmental. Shout out to these people because again, she did something that I don't think is in my blood or my strength to do. But again, you just never know what you will put up with when you're in a situation. So, but I personally can't see myself. I can't see myself. I've not ever been in this type of situation. So I maybe sound judgmental, and I'm not trying to, because like I said, they have a story, and this story is probably somebody else's story, and they don't know how to get through what they're going through in their marriage. They want to stay with their husband or their wife, but because of the infidelity, they don't know if they can make it through. So this is the type of story for a person that's going through that. I personally hope I don't ever have to deal with nothing like that. And I know from my personality and my past relationships, I have not did that. I have not said, well, okay, I'm gonna just trust the Lord, and we're gonna work things through. I'm gonna put up with this because I know God is going to change you. Like, I don't know. I don't know. So forgive me, guys. I don't want to be judgmental, but I have to be kind of. I just got to tell it how I see it and how I look at it. But again, I can't say everything because I've never been married. So there's things that I can't really speak on because I've never been married. But I can just kind of tell from my personality that it's just some things that I'm just like, I don't know. Hey Wolf, what's good? Thank you for coming through. So hey, teach his own. Forgive me. And yeah, just forgive me. I ain't trying to judge the lady, but yeah, I probably was.
You knowing this man was like this,
right?
What made you decide to marry him?
I thought that the title husband would change him. I did. I walked in thinking that if he was my husband and I was his wife, that a title could make you change. I learned very quickly that titles do not make people change. And I also thought that if he would own me, I wanted to be Mrs. Steele. If he had ownership, then he would treat me accordingly. Oh, God. I had to learn that way that wasn't true either.
My God.
Oh, so she thought if she had ownership, if she had the title as a wife, a title as Mrs. such and such, that she had first place. Remember at the beginning, she was saying as long as I was the one that he loved and that was first place, then I could deal with the others. So she still had that mentality, and it was just like, wow, that's low self-esteem, isn't it? Or am I being too judgmental? I don't know. Yeah, shit, yeah.
Low self-esteem. You got a nail on the head. That's low self-esteem.
Okay, because I'm really trying not to be judgmental. I'm really trying to, but it's so difficult. And it's always difficult when you're not in a situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I really I just knew that if we could just be united, that would make a man change, but it doesn't. And plus I needed to change also. We were two teenagers getting married and I was looking for fulfillment. I was wanting to fulfill a void that I was missing. Of course, that void could only be filled by Jesus. I didn't know that then. But when I found out I was pregnant before we got married, I ended up getting kicked out of my house by my parents. They were very upset by me, with me, and was moved into his parents' home, who were bishop and first lady. And I got thrusted from a Catholic lifestyle to storefront Pentecostal tambourine, getting healed, the same 30 people getting prayed for every Sunday church.
Facts.
And when I was in that environment, I didn't know what was going on. I was the project every Sunday because they were trying to push me down, I thought. And
grabbed by your stomach.
And because I wouldn't give in, I have a demon now. And so
I had somebody this is a crazy story. I had somebody try to do me like that. I was 18 years old. This man came pushing my head with some oil. And I'm looking at this man because I went to visit another church. I was with a youth group or something I was with. And this man put some oil on his hand, on that big hand, and put that greasy stuff. I guess it was olive oil. Put that greasy stuff on my forehead. And I'm looking at him like, we don't do this at our church. What the hell he got going on? And he kept pushing my head. Huh?
And asked that man, did he wash his hands first?
Yeah, I was just confused. Like, what's going on? Because we didn't do that at our church. And he put all that stuff, that greasy oil on my face, in my head. And he pushing my head down. Like, I'm looking at him like, stop pushing my head, nigga. And he kept pushing, excuse me for saying the N-word. And he kept pushing my head down. And I'm like, and so finally I just laid down because I'm like, he gonna push my head down until I lay down. Then once he did that and I laid down, then I got back up because I was just like, I didn't know what else to do. Like, and so I guess it was like, they saying you got to catch the Holy Ghost. And if you don't, you got a demon in you. I said, well, maybe I got one in me because I just couldn't feel what he was putting down. Like I said, he put some oil on my head and it was just foreign to me because we didn't do that. I go to a Baptist church, so we don't do all that. So I was confused. But anyway, let me go ahead and keep playing.
Forced into this.
So I was the project every Sunday.
I was thrust into this lifestyle because when I found out I was pregnant, we were actually broken up during the summer.
Okay.
We're going to college. I had a full ride scholarship to college.
Oh no, the Diddy party is down the street, German. Yeah, go down there. You might find it. Hey Ryan. I said Ryan. Yeah, hey Ryan. Hey Rare.
For classical piano. He had one for
classical
baseball.
Piano.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
I was classical pianist. And so I'm out of state. I find out I'm pregnant. I call him and I said, hey, I've gotten some news for you.
4 weeks later.
And he goes, well, I got some news for you. And I'm like, well, you tell me first. He's like, I went to church tonight. I gave my life to Jesus. I'm saved. I'm going to be a preacher. I had never heard this before from him because he never spoke to me about Jesus. So, and he's like, my life has changed. I said, well, preacher, I'm pregnant. And first he asked me a question.
Who? Because I'm like, you've been gone for 4 weeks.
Come on.
I'm like, you are in Richmond, Virginia.
I am not you.
You know.
I am not you.
So the first thing I told her, I said, keep the baby. Yep. I'll help you.
Right. Which was a miracle.
Because the plan was always, if something ever happened, we got to get an abortion.
We always knew that.
We don't want anything to interrupt our future, our life, and so on and so forth. But when she got home a week or two later, we only lived a half a mile from each other.
Right.
So we met up at
half a mile.
Yes, half a mile. We went to different high schools, though, thank God, because if we went to the same high school, it wouldn't have worked. But we went to different high schools.
So we met up when she got back from Richmond. And I met up with her and I'm like, we're gonna keep this thing pushing. We're gonna have the baby.
He was radically saved, going to church, living for Jesus, just changed his life completely. And then after we got married, about a couple months after we got married, he looked at me and said, I never had fun. And I didn't know what that meant.
As an adult.
Literally, he backslid for 5 years. Yeah. So he left this holy lifestyle back to smoking weed, drinking, chasing women. We would fight. Our house became the party house because my relationship with Jesus was attached to him. So if he went to church, I went to church. If he didn't go to church, I didn't go to church. And it is a form of idol worship, which I know that now. But he was my connection to Jesus. So at that time, I was chasing with knives, trying to jump on hoods of cars, fighting women. That was kind of a common thing. We were living in Section 8 housing on food stamps, having children. And it got so crazy that one day I said, I can't do this anymore because someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to either go to jail or get killed.
Seriously. So basically, Jasmine Sullivan, I broke the windows out your car was the theme
Absolutely.
song of your marriage.
No problem.
You up here?
I remember that song. I broke the windows out your car. Hey, Round Money, how are you?
What's good, Selena? How you doing?
What's good? You on that drink, huh?
Easy did it.
You sound like you got to go sleep, homeboy.
Yeah, man, I couldn't take no more of this, man. I don't know what's wrong, man. The church done failed the black community. And it failed the whole world, man. All right, God damn, boy.
I did get kicked out of the church.
Yeah, it's some
What you say, Easy did it?
I said I started telling Selena, well, I don't attend church because I got kicked out of a church because I disagreed with some of the things that they do. Like, for example, like, okay, you know how they try to tell you what to do in your relationship, or like how like, let's see, how can I put this? Okay, I'm not finna let no other man who ain't paying no bills in my house tell me how to run my household or my marriage. I'm sorry. I ain't that type of nigga. I'm too real for that. I ain't that type of guy.
How was they telling you? They was telling you in like a council,
like the things that what we should. Well, I mean, like things to like what we should do and shouldn't do and everything. And I'm like, hold on, dude.
Was it coming out of the Bible?
No.
Okay, that's different then. Because if he's coming out of the Bible and he tell you, see what church is the preacher preach the word, tell you what it is, you listen to it, you go behind him yourself and read what he told you, what he was talking about, and you get confirmation from it from God through the Holy Spirit. That's how it works. Or it'd be something that you already know in your heart, or God been to reveal something to you, and the preacher reveal it to you when he preach. That's how God works. It ain't no guy. It ain't no. That's how he works. And people who don't understand that, it is what it is to them. Jesus is an experience. It's not no cliche thing. He ain't no genie. He ain't gonna just pop up in your living room and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Nah, not like that. He'll come in. He'll come see you now, but it ain't gonna be like that. You get what I'm saying? So you got to have spiritual eyes to see that and understand that. It's two different worlds we living in. It's the flesh and the spiritual world. You get what I'm saying? That's why he spoke in parables. It ain't for everybody. Everybody can get it, but it ain't for everybody. You see what I'm saying? Some people take him literally and then think that, well, he said this or the Bible contradicts itself, and it ain't none of that. And that's why we have this big, God is not the author of confusion. So if that man was telling you that and it wasn't coming out of the Bible, then yeah, you got it right. But if he's telling you something and it's right and you arguing with it, then yeah, you in the wrong. You get what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. But back to the initial point, they didn't failed us, man, because people be looking at us at we supposed to be the salt of the earth, and people be looking at us like, okay, if y'all believe in God, show me. Bible said, "Let your light so shine before man that they may see your good works and glorify me, which is in heaven," which is God.
Yeah.
The stuff that we show in the world is the world stuff. So they like, why the hell I need to believe in this man? And you got this going on. You get what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people are falling away from the church and falling away from God. You see what I'm saying? Like this what they talking about, and you knew it to Christ and you knew it to knowing Jesus, and you run across something like this, you like, what the hell is this? You get what I'm saying?
What the hell is this?
Yeah, so anybody can be a preacher now.
Anybody can.
Yeah, so
you got somebody.
And they go back to my exactly, and they go back to my initial point. Knowing Jesus is a relationship. You have to know him for yourself. I can't tell Selena how to know him. I can't tell you how to know him. You got to know him for yourself. I can't tell nobody in the chat. People in the chat, people in the whole world, they can be like, oh, y'all don't know what you talking about. You don't know what the hell you talking about, and that's cool. But I did my part. If I tell you about them, I did my part. It's up to you to accept them or not. You get
That
what I'm
part.
saying? But it's a relationship, just like you have a relationship with your kids, your parents, your significant other, your siblings. That's how Jesus is. You talk to him just like me and we talking on this panel. Nothing more, nothing less. You ain't got to, he don't like when you do all of the, he'll tell you, it tell you in the Bible, he don't like when you do all that, trying to be all sanctified and all. Nah, he don't like, he wants you to be real with him.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? People don't understand that. You got some people, for example, my cousin, he said, man, I'm going to go to church when I stop drinking. Nigga, you ain't going to never stop drinking, nigga. It don't work
For
like
real.
that. Nigga, go to church while you drinking, and it'll fall off you. If you want to stop drinking, you going to stop drinking. If you want to stop cursing, you going to stop cursing. Whatever you battling with that you feel like that is hindering you in your life or is holding you back, and you want to get it off of you and you go to God with it, he'll take it away. Some people, he take it away right there then. Some people, he take it away over time. That's just how it go.
Okay, Rap Money.
You know.
Myron said, "Are you Pentecostal holiness?"
I don't know what I don't really get into all the
You're probably non-denominational.
The group
yeah.
name.
Yeah, I believe in being filled with the Holy Spirit. I tell you that.
Okay. Shout out to Rap Money and EZ for that. Let me keep going just a little bit.
Jumping on hoods.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's a true
Finding
story.
him at clubs, confronting just the whole thing.
So help me understand that. So what happened to where you find yourself on the hood? He's in the car?
Yeah, trying to leave.
Oh, so he's in the car. He ain't with the woman.
No.
She would sometimes hide my keys and help me
him look for him.
That's how bad it was.
You would hide the keys and help him look.
Yes, be hunting. Where could they be?
And then yeah. And then back then you didn't have GPS. We didn't have cell phones.
No.
And so my friends would be like, hey, Reggie, man, your wife found us. She in the club.
Yeah.
How would you find them?
I had mental GPS.
All my friends call her.
That's right. Well,
they call her to this day Detective Kelly.
I can find anything. I would check mileage. I'd find hairs in the car. Whose hair is this?
Hair fibers. So you missed your college. You're supposed to work for forensics.
Well, sure. I actually ended up working for the police, actually. But
oh, you did?
For 13 years.
So finally, I was about.
Yes,
this
sir.
Is true.
Yeah.
So I finally was like,
13
I'm going to leave him. At this point, I was working my way out of poverty. I got the job with the police department, and my aunt found me a job in Virginia to have me work there because I was going to leave. It was really bad. Mm-hmm. And I had my 2 babies with me trying to leave, and I put my hand on the door. And I'm not going to say God told me to stay or leave, but I felt like I couldn't leave. And I cried because I felt like I can't leave. And I went to bed that night, and I had a dream of him preaching.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next morning. Well, first of all, you were upset that I was still home.
Yeah, because I got home. I'm like, I thought you were moving to Virginia with the 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I had a dream that you became a preacher. I said, that's not going to happen.
Right.
I said, just because my dad does that means I got to be disciplined and committed. And I'm not trying to be either one.
Right. And he said, I'm going to keep on smoking this. But I just felt like that dream could happen. One night, shortly after that, I was by myself because the marriage was still horrible crap. You have all these moments, and I was rocking back and forth. Remember, like, I'm going to lose my mind because he had left again. It's gone again. You're not you're not worthy of anything. You should, end your life, and he'll never love you and all this stuff. And somehow, some way I was able to call on the name of Jesus. That was my first encounter. I wasn't at church. I was by myself. And I had a radical heart shift.
Is it freezing
in
on
my
your
word,
end or
under
is
my
that my
word. I just
internet?
completely changed as a person. And
That's all good and all. And shout out to her organization that, she has to get herself together. She has to have a personal relationship with God herself, but it's enough. Like I said again, now I'm gonna fast forward this a little bit to see. They said that so and a punching bag or I know there's a scripture that says turn the other early, like that to me. When I interpret turn the other cheek, that means either walk away from a confrontation, walk away out of hand, but that that you probably would be more confrontational thing, or that the situation abuse you. Yeah, and some people a exponential scriptures, eh, anybody, a woman or a man, actually scripturally, if permission, police for now, you can get a divorce. um what's your thoughts on rare money? If you I might need to get some Don Julio or something. Still up here? Hey, how are you? Yo, nigga ass out, baby. You see what your boy Russell said?
Yeah, I think your internet messing up, Selena.
Sneaking
Ask
up in
them
my
if you
house.
chopping in and out.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah, put one in the chat if you can hear.
Yeah, is she going in and out?
With Selena. Oh, you can come up. It's You're more than welcome. I don't know if Rare Money. Put the link at the very top. I'm gonna keep playing it. Can you hear me, Rare Money?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
I think it was my headphones.
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah,
the
you
nigga
sound
Russell
just as
talking about?
sleepy as me. What's up, Rachel? What you have to say, Rare Money?
What Russell talking about?
I don't know what Russell say. Get your nigga ass out of my baby mama house. You sneaking in my house while I was at the club. Old ass nigga.
Oh
Take your
yeah, he go.
old ass. Take your homie easy with you. This ain't church. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, he back home now. He go to the old folk club.
Yeah.
He be done
Oh,
at 11.
Yeah, the old club down here, we call it Cliff Club. My daddy used to go to. It was a place called Cliff Club in the Oak Cliff. It's still in Oak Cliff. That's where Russell at.
Yeah, that nigga got his PJs on. He putting his pajamas on. That nigga don't wear no basketball shorts. Bed. That nigga got there put on a whole 2-piece
Right.
PJ suit. Got his
With the
teeth on his cup on the side of the bed.
right,
He got his
right.
glasses and his
Yeah,
newspaper.
with them little braids and baby teeth. You
Yeah, and a
know.
whole bottle of Viagra and some Vaseline lotion.
Oh, Russell, so big head. What's
He
up,
probably got a
Russell?
picture of you too.
Oh, Russell.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
nasty ass nigga.
Oh Lord, you a mess, man, buddy. Um, yeah. What I was talking about, how people talk about turn the other cheek. What you think about that? Do you understand? What I was trying to say is that don't mean you have to be a doormat for people. Turning
Say
the
that
other cheek
again.
don't mean it.
Repeat what you said.
I said turning the other cheek doesn't mean you have to be a doormat for people. That you have to let somebody walk over you.
No, I think turning the other cheek is knowing how to move.
That's what I said.
That's how I take it when they say turn the other cheek. That mean know how to move.
Mm,
I know when to goddamn step up, and I know when not to.
I
That don't
know that.
mean I let you get away with what you got away with.
Right, that part. Don't and I think I have three. So if I can get two more super chats, I would really appreciate it, y'all. I haven't been on here in a minute. So if y'all would bless me with two more super chats, I truly appreciate it. You said I think a lot of people turn the other cheek when it comes to child abuse. Oh, I hope not, honey. I definitely wouldn't. I don't play that. But let me keep playing this a little bit, and I'm gonna see where this gonna go. I'm gonna fast forward it just a little bit because, honey, they doing a lot of talking.
I'm not his preference. Don't mean he's not gonna, like this. I mean, he's been coming back for 32 years.
Well, 30 to be 35 this December if you add up the other years.
But some people may look at that as you have low self-esteem.
Probably, maybe. And like you said, I had no value, had no worth. And I said that from the beginning. I said, I didn't know who I was. And I was just very, open and honest about that. But I was confident that we should be together. It's very unique.
And so a lot of stuff that y'all are saying is going to trigger a lot of women. Mm-hmm. They're going to look at it like, see, that's that struggle love they talking about. I don't want it.
Right.
I don't want the struggle love. I don't want to have to deal with a man that has to go through all that.
Mm-hmm. Every marriage is struggle love, but it just depends on what level you want it, or what level it is, because every marriage is going to be a struggle. It's two human beings that's been raised differently. They have different ideals, different backgrounds, different ways of perception. So there's always going to be something. There's just some people have a degree higher of the struggle of that could really be very harmful to one's mental and spiritual health, and sometimes physical. Would you agree?
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Okay.
I just look at it as I make it simple. It's just finding somebody that understands you and you find somebody that you understand. And then you go from there. Of course, you got to love the other person too. That's the number one thing. But it's their weaknesses is your strength and vice versa. That's how I
Okay.
look at it. And then you got order, knowing your roles, If the man gonna be the leader, then you gotta let him lead. If the woman gonna be the leader, if that's what some niggas like, then you let the woman lead. Me personally, I don't think that'll work, but you got some niggas that like that. They like women that's in control.
Right. Thank
To
you,
each his
Mike.
own or whatever.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate you. Yeah, I got one more to hit my goal, y'all. Thank you so much. Yeah, I see it your way too, but either way, it takes two people that want to deal with each other. That's just the bottom line. And if you can't deal with each other, then you just can't. So let's just not. Hey, trending with Sharice, how are you? One day I got to get you up here. You have a lot of great perspectives as well. So we were talking a little bit, Sharice, about the this man up here. He's a pastor, and he had a thing where he was with multiple women. And I was asking the question earlier: Are men meant to? Can men be monogamous? Monogamous, I'm sorry, monogamous, or is it just in them to be with multiple women? That was one of the questions that I asked at the beginning. um so some people have different perceptions of that. I know for me, because I come from the background I come from, I've always been taught that a man should have one wife. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't always pan out that for everyone. You know, again, I'm not trying to tell everybody how to live their life. That's between you and God, or or whatever your belief system is. But I just kind of wanted to know: Can men be monogamous, or is it just in men to be with multiple women? So yeah, that's just
I think it's both.
okay.
Uh, but it depends on the type of man. I don't know. That's kind of complex because it depends on what type of man it is. Because some men can get any woman they want, just about. I ain't gonna say but you get your fair share.
Hmm.
And sometimes I think it's some men knowing that, and your situation can be good and all that, and you just want what you want. But you got your flesh you got to fight against, because depending on your belief system, it's wrong. And some people's belief system is right.
Right,
So
right, right.
it all depends on the person.
Somebody was telling me rare money. Thank you so much, Russell. You said, "Oh, shut up, Russell." Uh, Somebody was telling me I'll be a good sister wife. I said, "What? I am not trying to be no." Hey, Amber, how are you? I said I am not trying to be nobody's sister's wife, but shoot, you never know in this day and time. I might have to make some changes. I might have to make some changes because it don't look too good.
Yeah, these niggas ain't acting right out here, man. They funny out here these days.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I might have to make some changes up in this mug, cause baby, what we got going on in this world, it's looking pretty scary.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
scary out here.
EMIT, thank you for coming through. Oh, Amber, we're talking about this story. You'll probably have to go back to the beginning. His name is Reggie and Kelly Steele. Reggie is a pastor, a Christian pastor, and he had a lot of problems with infidelity. Well, he brought it into marriage. He started out being a womanizer, and she accepted it because he was like, hey, as long as I'm number one, I'll put up with the rest. And then, excuse me, when they got married, she started to get a little stressed about it. Then, even though she allowed it, she still didn't really like it because she was fighting with the women and everything. So this was a very controversial kind of story because a lot of women that did reactions on it, they were appalled by her behavior, or they felt like she had low self-esteem. And I think that's true. She does have low self-esteem. Listen, if you're going to be the type of woman to say, yes, I don't mind, I don't mind having sister wives and all that. I mean, you know what I'm saying, like that, then that's you. I mean, but she didn't want that, but she went ahead and allowed it because that was her way of keeping him. But that's not really what she wants. But if you are a woman and that is a part of your religious background to be with a man that has multiple wives, and you have accepted that calling on your life, then that's you. That's something that you've accepted, and you said that this was okay, and you work with it. But some women, they don't really want that, but they say they want that because they want the man. But then once they get married, it starts to be a little bit too much. Then they say, "Okay, I'm tired of it. I don't like it." Well, this is basically what you signed up for. So you actually wasn't being truthful to yourself. And now you're in a situation where you want this man, but he wants you and everybody else. So you have to make a decision on what you're gonna do. And basically, this story, I'm not gonna do all of it because it's just so much. But it's like they're talking about their story and telling people in their church, I guess if you have marital problems like this, you can make it through. They've been together, I think, for 35 years in December. I think that's what they said. So they've been together for a very long time. So they're talking to other couples and letting them know, if we've been through this and we survived and we're still married, then you can too. Now, the story is not going to work for everybody because everybody doesn't believe in that. Like, some people are just not. For my personality, I'm not going to say what I never will put up with, but because I know who I am, my personality I can't see it adapting to this because my self-esteem is not low like that. Like, I have insecurities like any other woman, but I don't have low self-esteem where that I'm going to allow anybody to just do anything to me and be okay with it. That's just not me. That's never been me. When I was 15, 16 years old and started talking to boys on the phone, I always never was that type of girl that would not let boys talk to me or treat me any kind of way, because it just was in me. Maybe it's because of how I was taught by my family, or maybe I was just one of the people. I was just always real feisty, and sometimes I a little strong willed, where I wasn't going to allow anybody to talk to me any kind of way. That's why, thank you, Amber. That's why when people want to say they said something to me and I just sit up there and took it, I'm saying, you lying right out of your teeth. You lying bastard. I don't ever let nobody get away with talking to me crazy. I mean, nobody. So if I'm, let me just hush because I'm going down a different road. But I'm just telling you, people, thank you so much, Amber, for showing me some love. People that, hey, fatty, people that want to lie and say, I just sit there and took it because, oh, I don't want you to be mad. Hey, Bama, I don't want you to be mad at me. Hell no. I'm going to fight to the bitter end because I'm just that type of fool at times. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. I ain't gonna let a man, woman, boy, girl talk to me and treat me any kind of way. You started out being very promiscuous. Oh, honey, we all have our struggles. You know what I'm saying? At that age, LOL, I was dating older. What? So I just didn't date, period. Boys were too childish. And you know what, Cherise, and shout out to Cherise. If you are a mod in my chat, I thought you must be on another account, Amber, because I thought you was a mod. If you are mod. Can you put trending by Sharice number? I said number. Channel in my chat. She's a young content creator. She is highly intelligent. And she talks about a lot of different things that's going on in the society today. And I really would love for her one day to come up here and on Selena's couch one day and come up here and just talk. We can just talk about different things. You have a lot of great things to say. So if I have a mod in my chat, I'll try to make somebody a mod. Oh, shoot. I don't even know how to do it on my phone. But
I don't think you can do it on your phone.
oh, okay. Can you oh, I can't even.
No,
Can
I
you?
can't do it. I'm just saying I don't think you can. I heard
Oh,
people say
okay.
that before.
Let me see. I have to see if I can make up. But I don't have any mods, so I'm gonna see if Amber can put her link in my chat because I want people to check her out. She has a lot of great things. You said you can. Oh, okay. I don't know, girl. I'm halfway asleep, so and I'm about to get off here. But put Amber, if you can, put trending with Sharice information in the chat so people can sub up to her. Yes, a lot of great content, guys. Y'all need to really check it out. So back to what I was saying because I got it. But yeah, so Amber, I said not Amber. So Amber, you were kind of promiscuous, and Cherie said she dated older guys. When I was 15 and 16, I was just talking to boys at the time. I wasn't really going on dates or anything because my dad was kind of strict. So I couldn't really um, go out at 15 and 16. When I could go out on dates and stuff, I was like 17 and 18. That's when I started going out on dates. You had them little boyfriends and stuff, you talk to on the phone, and you might meet up at the movies or at the mall, but it wasn't nothing serious. But yeah, I would say 17, 18 for me is when my dad allowed me to kind of start going out on dates with boys. Um, and
You didn't sneak
actually,
none in the house, did you?
well, I did have somebody.
I know you did.
Well, I did have a boy. He was a homeboy, at the time. Well, yeah, he was like my little supposedly boyfriend at 16. And we never went anywhere. He went to another high school. I went to another high school, and um he tried to sneak in one day when we were out of school, and I told him he could come by because I knew nobody would be at home. Because people was at work and everything, and so he came by and he tried, but he didn't get nothing. And he
Man,
was
I
just,
remember them days, boy. Like you playing house, boy. Mom and dad at work, or
yeah,
mama
he
at
was,
work, or grandma gone, boy. Be in there playing house, boy. I
yeah,
got caught. I
no,
got caught a couple of times. I had to hide in the closet for like 4 hours.
really.
Hell yeah.
He didn't. Yeah, he wasn't gonna get nothing. He was very upset with me, but he got over it. And if he never did, oh well. But when I saw, every time I would see him and I would remind him of that, he would always like, man, I was mad too. I said, yep. I'm so glad that and me personally, um, I'm glad that I didn't start early because there's a lot of responsibility to me. I feel like when you start early, because you're really not aware, sex to me is something very serious. But some people take it lightly, and to each his own, on that. But I think you should be really, when you do that, you need to really be mentally prepared for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you need
Um,
to.
yeah. What you
Cause
say?
around that time, that age, 16, 15, 16, 17, shit, you be from a guy standpoint, you damn near think you in love, and then once you got down bust off and you done, you be ready to get the hell up out of that house for them folks come. You done. But the
Right, right.
female, she sitting there, she ready to cook for you and finish playing house. Once you
Uh-huh.
get through, you ready to go.
Child.
Man, man, I don't think about them days. Hopping gates, hiding in closets,
Uh-huh.
tiptoeing.
Child. Rent money, you was a little thought pocket.
No, I went there. It went. I was chilling. I ain't go
Mhm.
crazy till I got out of high school. Like in high
Oh, okay.
school, I was a 6, 7 in high school, like a 6. I was normal in high school. After
Oh,
high school, I was. It was yeah.
you was a hoe. Okay.
No, I
Shout
won't
out.
say all that.
Yeah, you was.
I was a ladies man though. But I just knew how to
Oh,
treat women. I just knew how to treat women.
rent money a mess.
I know how to
You
treat
said,
women. You gotta make them feel nice and special. Make them smile.
yeah,
Make them feel special.
you know how to do it. I said, you're a little charming. You know how to be charming at times.
Yeah, but I used to be for real though. It ain't, we straight. You with me? We straight.
Shout out to Red
And
Money.
if I'm doing wrong, I'm gonna make sure I take care of you too though. Shit, you gonna get something out the deal. We gonna be
Uh,
it ain't gonna be like that.
all right. Well, shout out to you for that.
But I'm a
Yeah,
changed man now.
you're a changed man.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
changed
Well,
man
shout
now.
out to being a changed man. A changed man. Yeah, you can come up for a few minutes. Like I said, I'm gonna be up here for a few more minutes and I'm gonna get on out of here. You said I didn't date because the boys were oh, I already read that one. Mike said I snuck and climbed up the balcony to my girlfriend's room. Oh, Mike,
Damn, Mike was
you
about to
something
risk it
else.
all. Mike was about to fall and call the ambulance and risk it all. I
Mhm.
gotta call the fire department. He was
Yeah,
risking it all, goddamn it.
I was working at McDonald's. Soon as I get off, straight to action.
Yeah, boy. And Mike, and gas was cheap. I remember I ain't getting no car till I was 17, my
Uh,
senior year. So 16, it's summertime. I wasn't thinking about nothing. I used to give my cousin $5. $5 used to get you a half a tank of gas. You can
that
get you
part.
there and back.
That's what
Drop
I'm
me off
talking
and
about.
pick me up.
Right.
$5. Then you give them $10. They can get something to eat too. My cousin, she used to be able to get her something to eat too. Drop me off and pick me up at the stop sign.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Mike, you was 16? Wow, y'all was popping it early, honey. Jeez. Shout out to Mike for climbing up the balcony. What's up, Amber? At 16 years old. What's up, Amber? How are you?
I'm good.
What's up? So what you had to add to this conversation? We don't went far left, but what you want to add?
Um, well, I've been sitting here for about a week with nobody around, cat sitting for somebody while they're
Mm.
on their 1 year anniversary celebration. And
Oh, okay.
when I got back up and I saw you on, I'm like, okay. So I was checking you out, and then I saw my membership was expired and all that stuff. So I rejoined.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just to put it in perspective, y'all flashed me back to all kinds of stuff. Like it took me forever to realize what love was and that I had to love myself first. But now
Right.
I'm older now, it don't even matter. I don't even care.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was very promiscuous, and I didn't know what love was, and so I was just settling for whatever. And
Yeah.
nobody ever taught me what love was.
Right.
So, I was just a hoe. I didn't know that's who I was. I mean,
I'm
but,
sorry.
damn,
When I get
that,
sleepy, I get kind
that,
of
that's
giggly.
Me too. But see, what I want to explain was I was a virgin till I was 16. I thought that was pretty damn good back then because
Mhm.
everybody else was pregnant. So
Oh
anyway,
wow.
you know what? Why it took me so long, and I'm gonna just confess this to the world. And I don't give a damn if anybody turns it around. I ain't nobody for somebody to start picking on or whatever. And
Yeah.
but anyway, so when I was very, very young, I was sexually molested, right? And
Mm.
even when you're young like that, if they're not, you know, oh, this is gonna sound so bad. It's gonna sound like something Oprah said. Like when you're young and something like that's happening, you don't understand what love is. You don't even know that you're being abused. You don't even know it's wrong. I'm talking about
Right.
very, very, very young. So and it was a family member, right? And he was
Mhm.
only and he was 5 years older than me, but I was like 6 or 7, right? But it went on for a long time.
Oh
So
wow.
but I'm just gonna say that he never hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And he never went all the way. So I was had these feelings, and I didn't. Sounds so bad, but I
Mhm.
had these sexual feelings, and I didn't know what it was that I wanted. All I know is I wanted some
That
more, right?
feeling. Yeah.
And I wanted that feeling. I'm just being real, being honest.
Mhm.
And people get it twisted, but I guess if they haven't been through something like that, they would never understand anyway. But that's how it gets so twisted. So when I finally um, started dating my first boyfriend, I had him for 3 years. Hell, he was screwing somebody else. I didn't know all that. Then,
Mhm.
he but I don't want to get too personal. So I almost said something I didn't want to say. But
Yeah.
when I
Say
caught him screwing around with my best friend, I went to swing on him and I went to swing on her, but I swung on him instead. And that was in junior high school. And so
right.
after that, I just was, he was my first. And then I was just going from guy to guy to guy, looking for the caring feeling that I thought was love. And
Yeah.
my parents
That's
never
hard.
taught me what it was, and they didn't know what had happened or what had been going on. To make a long story short, when I finally did find out what love was and I felt truly in love, that man was an abuser. And
Mhm.
he was physically abusive, and he didn't do that until like maybe 2 years into the relationship. He switched. But
Mm.
he was out screwing everything too. But I was loyal. I wasn't out screwing around on him or nothing like that.
Mhm.
And that went on for like 7 years. And then when my dad died, he had said, "You need to leave him alone. He's going to kill you." So I left him alone. And then oh my God, I thought I was going to tell you some good stuff, but I just, now I'm older and I know what love is. And I didn't love myself the whole time. I did
Yeah.
not love me. And I thought my love, what my definition of love, my idea of love was very twisted. But that
Yeah.
wasn't my fault. That was because of what happened when I was very young. So
Mhm.
although it was all twisted, I when I realized, like I said, to love myself, I wouldn't let anybody ever, at this point especially, I would never ever compromise myself and put up with the man, long as I'm the top dog and long as he's providing for me and all of this, he can do what he wants. No, that's hard to live with yourself, knowing you're compromising your spirit, your soul, and just I don't know. It's ugly.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel you. And shout out
Love
to
it.
you for telling your story. I know
for
that's a
real.
lot,
You can
but
write a
I
book.
the more times you tell it, the more you release it.
Right.
So
Never.
shout out to you for that, cause that ain't nothing easy to share with nobody.
It
But by
sure
Well, I
you
don't.
ain't.
sharing that, you just don't know somebody heard that, and if you help one person, you did your job. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
shout out to
I
you
love
for that. And I'm sorry
thank.
all that happened to you. And I'm glad you know found peace with everything too.
Well, thank you. But I just would love to take the time and like when Selena lets me come up and I end up stuttering around and I don't say what I thought I was going to say and I jump around too much. But the details, oh my God, y'all. I can't believe that I made it through. But these women nowadays, like, I don't understand how well, see, and then I look at them, I'm like, well, I used to be like that. And then
Yeah.
I want to grab them and just tell them, hey, look, that's not love. And once I tried to tell somebody, you got to love yourself first. They wasn't trying to hear that. But when they
Right.
get older, they're going to understand what they compromised spiritually. It will destroy you, you know? I mean, because I went out and I ended up getting on drugs for 17 years on the streets. And,
Wow.
and then, and when I started out, I wasn't out there hoeing around and selling my ass for crack or nothing like that. I wasn't, a crack hoe, so to speak. But then I said, well, you know what? I can get more and make more by doing that by myself.
Right.
And at that point, you know, the sex wasn't about love. It was about a goal, a supporting my habit without the man controlling me. So I had it really twisted in my head. The
Oh,
whole
wow. So you, I'm, I'm forgive me. I'm saying right. I, I, okay. So you ended up instead of you doing it for a man, you did it. Started doing it for money.
well, I did it, yeah, because I ended up, I wasn't like people say, oh, you was a crack hoe. No, I wasn't a crack hoe. Yes, I
Oh,
did it so I could get the money for the crack, but if I got the money, I could get other things too, material things,
oh,
and pay bills. Yeah, it was like that. So, and this
sure.
man, I was with him for 3 years. He was a longshoreman. He was making, God dang it, man, that long ago, he was making over 30 something dollars an hour. And he
What?
was
Okay.
bringing home tons of money. He'd bring home the dope too. And I
Yeah,
had
that's
Yeah.
like
some,
$70 an hour today.
yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't even smoke that shit by myself. I had to go out and bring people, come on over, just sit with me, and then I didn't want them there once they got there because they was greedy. And then even when I had my own shit, the dudes still want, oh, well, want to trying to put something in your mouth while you already got a pipe in your mouth. They trying to stick something else in your mouth. So sex is just oh my God. It's just I hate that happened the way it did because I would have the way my sons are now. They each one's got a fiance and the other one's been married a year. They they know what love is, and I'm watching them in their relationships and they're loyal to each other, and it's a beautiful thing. And I try to tell them, y'all, I get so much enjoyment of watching y'all sharing y'all's lives together. And it's a beautiful thing because y'all didn't have to go through what I did. And,
Mhm.
they're like, well, we feel bad that you went through this or that. No, don't feel bad. That was my journey. What I'm
Right.
saying is
Boy.
yours is a beautiful thing and it is love. And y'all always make me like I always feel like crying because it's such a beautiful thing. And nowadays it's really hard. to find that. So
Yeah.
I'm like, even though I don't have anyone in my life, I don't desire to have anyone in my life. I've had enough to last 3 lifetimes. I'm not interested, it's just not something that I desire. It's just like, I guess I got switched off in my mind. I got
Mhm.
switched off, turned off completely. Like there's no amount of money or anything in this world that I would compromise myself and try to share myself with anybody ever again. Because
Mm.
all of those past things will always be in my thoughts. So I'm trying to spiritually grow and keep God as my man in my life, as my provider, as my guidance, as my, support system.
Right.
And people are like, "Oh, you just a religious freak." No, the hell I'm not. You got to understand my journey before you
Right.
understand where I'm at.
Let
So
me ask you this question now. I know back then, especially with that, what happened to you as a young girl, that has affected your self esteem. Do you still struggle with low self esteem now?
I don't now, but look,
Okay.
I tried to tell my mother about it, and she's like, "Oh, kids do that." No, the hell they don't. I
Yeah.
mean, you that was your brother, my uncle. My uncle, although we had the same birthday, and when he passed away a few years ago, I did
Mhm.
not shed one tear. And I'm like, well, but you know what I did? I so his his wife is my aunt, of course. She's 1 year younger than me. And I always, when he come to visit, he would like go to kiss us on the cheek, my sisters and me and all that. Not me. I would back up. And my mom, they thought I was strange. No, I
Mm.
wasn't strange. I didn't want him to touch me because I was old enough to understand what the hell had happened at that point. And
Right.
and then when I tried to tell my mom and my grandmother, his mother, about it, oh, that kids do that. That's just what they do. And I'm like, you can see where I got my messages all messed up. But
Yeah.
well, anyway, when he passed away, I called her, my aunt, and I told her, and she said, you know what she said? She said, "Oh, I thought it was Tanya, which is my older sister, because
Mm.
he told me about her." I'm like, "You motherfucker!" Excuse my language. I'm so sorry.
No, be yourself, girl.
So you telling me that it wasn't just me; it was my other sister too. So I have to wonder, you know, did he do anything to his beautiful daughters? I mean, they're gorgeous. They were gorgeous. They're not anymore. But I just,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? They're older too. And, I'm like, he's with, kiss them on their lip. That's not normal to me. I see
No.
people kissing their family members on just a peck or whatever. No, to
Mm.
me, it's perverted. And that
No.
might be just because of what I went through that I think that's perverted,
It
you know?
could be, and depending, but some of that stuff you do have to be careful. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna move on to these other things that I want to show you guys. This, you have to be very careful of even your family members, unfortunately, because some family members are sick in the head.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and even the ones that you least expect to be that way will do some weird things. You know, I was blessed, but I have had certain situations in families, or I heard stories, and you just be like, hey, that was it. It is, it's in every family. You're gonna hear some stories that have happened, some incest. Some people have the molestation from an older cousin, or a cousin of the same age, or uncle or aunt. I mean, it's a lot of that goes on in families. I was thinking about, I don't know, y'all remember Whitney Houston's story. She was
Yeah.
molested by her mom's first cousin, Dionne Warwick's sister. And she was
Oh
kind of
wow.
confused. Whitney Houston at one point, and she didn't really was blatant about her sexuality when she was, back in those times in the 80s and the early 90s. But she struggled with her sexuality because of her being molested. And then she was starting, she had also the same attraction to women like she did with men.
Oh
So
wow.
that confuses children. That's why it's never a great thing for children to be exposed to sex at an early age,
No.
because it confuses a child, and where a child should be innocent and be doing things that children should do, they're confused after that kind of thing happens to them, and it messes up their psyche. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and shout out to Amber for sharing her story. That was that was a lot, and you've been through a lot. So um, I would definitely tell you, you have a story that you need to tell more on, especially on your own platform. Really, there's a lot of victims, but they have been through this, and they are 50 years old, still remembering what happened to them when they were 6 years old.
It was
That's
like yesterday.
Yeah, it was just like yesterday. So it's just amazing how those things, those memories, and some people, they try to use drugs to get rid of it. They try to
Yeah.
drink it away. They
Yep.
try to even sex it away. But the fact of that matter is, it just stays there because that's
And,
something that you haven't healed from. Now, and I'm talking about this lady here. Now, she said she had low self-esteem. Her daddy was a womanizer. And then she was mad at her mama because her mama got tired of the mess and got rid of him and divorced him. So she had some resentment towards her mama, and she married exactly who her daddy was. And
oh,
she didn't have esteem. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more because we already know she said she didn't have no standards. So let me
damn.
fast forward.
Except my own.
So in that moment, how did you feel getting that moment of reconciliation?
Honestly, I didn't want him to do that because I love him so much. I didn't feel
worthy.
It's I don't know if you've had that happen to you, but it's a very humbling experience.
Exactly.
To wash your feet, and it made me uncomfortable. But of course, we cried together and hugged together, and of course, I received it and loved him, but I was uncomfortable with it because you don't have to do that for me to accept your forgiveness.
Do you realize why God allowed him and instructed him to do that?
I do now.
Why?
Because he had to it was a way of saying thank you and just humility, the humility of it,
Well, I guess they went through a ritual at their church where when he asked her to finally forgive him when he changed his life over after doing this for 5 years or however long he was doing this to her, and she allowing it. He did a ritual, when Jesus washed his disciples' feet. So they did a ritual like that and asked for forgiveness, and let's see where it goes from here. Now we're gonna skip through a lot of this.
That word, humility. When Jesus modeled that in the Bible, it was the greatest show of humility. Yeah. Here's this leader, here's this savior of the world that says, I can humble myself to wash your feet.
Yeah.
That's what masculinity truly is. Right. That's what husbandry really is.
It is.
It's to
Okay, I'm fast forward this. Now everything is supposedly good. Let's see.
Believe in each other. Yeah. The other B is you got to bend. For instance, my wife came to me about a month ago. She said, baby, I want to go hiking today. I'm like, I'm up here watching Netflix. I'm good. But then I realized I got to compromise. I got to bend.
Yep.
And we went hiking. She wanted to go play pickleball.
Right.
I didn't want, I'm like, man, I'm off on Mondays. Because every Monday I quit the ministry because, Sunday I preach twice. So Monday's my day to just kind of kick back. We have Monday at Mom's with our grandkids and our adult children, but she wanted to go play pickleball. So we got to learn how to bend. We got to believe. What's the other B, if you remember?
So they are an example to the married couples. Shout out to them. I would not not want to have their story, but I definitely appreciate the struggle, and hopefully they will get moved through that and keep being better people. Hell, I don't know. Let me go to this. Now I'm getting tired and I'm about to start saying stuff out the top of my head. So I'm ready to hurry up and get off here.
And according to the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, Cleveland Brody knew his HIV positive status since 2006, but he was not disclosing it to partners. Investigators have named 3 victims in the case.
Because he's probably slept with men and women with his old self. He was HIV positive. This is from Carlos King. And shout out to him. He is from Texas. This woman was dying of cancer, bless her heart, and she ended up finding out that she was HIV positive. No, she ended up having AIDS because her husband, who was supposed to be faithful to her, was going around dibbling and dabbling and God knows what. And in Atlanta, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta. It's everywhere, but especially there. So I don't know what this guy oh Lord, I was just about to say something inappropriate, but he was sticking and moving, that's for sure.
One was married to the suspect,
but Denise somehow was still sick. The family had new doctors run new tests again for everything. Karen recalls doctors determining her 65-year-old mom was dying, but not from a malignant mass.
Then they end up calling us, telling us that she's not going to beat this. You need to take her off the ventilator, and she's not going to make it because she has HIV, she has AIDS.
This woman already had cancer, and what even made it worse and made her immune system go down, she ended up having HIV and AIDS. Now, usually in this day and time, AIDS can be treated, HIV can be treated without a person dying. But your immune system is already down. Your organs are already, depending on how the cancer is spreading, is making your organs go down. So on top of that, with finding out that she has AIDS, where could she possibly get AIDS from? She could have got it from a blood transfusion, but no, she got it from a man that was supposed to be loving her and doing God knows what with God knows who. And he deserves everything he gets.
April 2nd, 2022. Based off her blood work,
she was in full-blown AIDS after having untreated, undiagnosed HIV for at least 5 years.
The person who gave it to her was
5 years. This stuff doesn't show up like that. Like it just doesn't. Sometimes this HIV, it takes a long time before it goes into full-blown AIDS. When it's in full-blown AIDS, and your system is just shutting down, and there's nothing you can do.
It's not unknown.
All right, what's up with the YouTube fam? I'm back again with another video, right? So listen, this situation right here is crazy as hell, and I got to start it off.
Little bastard. Look at him.
The correct way by saying RIP to this beautiful lady by the name of Denise Brody. Now, Denise Brody has been married to this guy by the name of Cleveland Brody. Cleveland Brody has been diagnosed with HIV/AIDS since 2006, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now, she lost her life, I think, in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So this case has been going on for a couple of years, but now he's being charged with murder and reckless behavior and involuntary or voluntary manslaughter, one of the two. We're gonna get into the details in the video, but I want to say, man, for this guy, and I'm moving a little bit too fast. Let me send my love and condolences out to the family. I want to let y'all know that I am sorry that y'all lost her. I hate the fact that she trusted and gave him everything that she had, for her to still lose her life to somebody like this, bro. I hope that he gets the maximum sentence. And yeah, man, I'm sending y'all nothing but peace, blessings, and healing energy our way.
Yeah, bless her heart. Look at her. She's in the hospital dying. And this fool just sitting up there sticking and moving. See, this is where dirty dick. These men. Oh, so sorry.
That's all you can call it. I mean, that's all it is.
I'm so sorry, but it just, oh Lord, I'll see that at late at night. I just start saying anything. Men, oh my God.
Castration. Can you
Okay,
say castration?
let me play this.
Closing it to sexual partners. Investigators have named 3 victims in the case. One was married to the suspect, even died after having undiagnosed and untreated HIV for 5 years, according to her medical records. Denise Brody died in April 2022 because of her own husband's reckless conduct, according to prosecutors' claims.
She was in full-blown AIDS after having untreated, undiagnosed HIV for at least 5 years.
I want the state to understand that if you
This is the lady's brother speaking against him in court.
decide not to charge Mr. Brody with my sister, you're not only sending the message to my family, because we are going to let you know, and we're going to let the people know what is going on here.
Cleveland Brody currently has several charges against him, including felony reckless conduct, and the prosecutor has said that they are intending to charge him with. So we are going to find out if that is one of those new charges held against him this morning. Reporting in Conyers, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
Man is behind bars tonight, charged with his wife, not allegedly with a knife, but by giving her AIDS.
Fox 5's Kevin Stewart joins us live from the Rockdale County Jail in Conyers with the story. Kevin?
The victim here was diagnosed with cancer, but soon doctors realized she had more than cancer. She had AIDS, and that's why her husband is here at the Rockdale County Jail. This is Denise and Cleveland Brody, married in 2014 after meeting at a Christmas party 2 years prior. These were better times.
She didn't look like better times. She looked like, why is you touching me? I don't know.
And she loved this man. She really, really loved him.
But Cleveland Brody is now accused of violating his wife's trust, the family's faith. Rockdale County deputies have charged him with murdering Denise Brody, knowingly infecting her with HIV, his status completely unknown to her. 2022 at 65.
And how long did she live after diagnosis?
2 days.
She put him out when she found out he was cheating on her. And she loved him so much that she actually allowed him to come back, asked him to take a test because he's out there. And he was smart enough to know that it would not get picked up.
Prosecutors first charged the husband in 2023 with only reckless conduct HIV, but the family pushed for murder and did the detective work to share with authorities.
Get evidence of the fact that he had it before he met my mother.
2 years later, now her stepfather is charged with felony.
Because at any time he could have told her, I have this. And she gave her the right to make the decision on whether or not she wanted to stay with him.
You better watch these people y'all sleep with and everything. That's why I'm like, you better go take a test. I'm not sleeping with you until you take a test. I'll take one. I'm clean, but shoot, you need to take one. You don't know what these people got going on, and you don't know these down low brothers. And it's probably a lot. It's a lot of them everywhere, but especially in Atlanta, honey. He probably was sitting up there with Gregory, and Keisha. So y'all have to be careful about these people. These people are weird.
And one of the reasons why this is so tough for the family is because AIDS is no longer a death sentence. They're encouraging people to be tested for all STDs. Reporting live in.
Shout out to that. Shoot, that was a hot mess, y'all. Y'all watch who y'all sleep with, and make sure. Hey, BDB, make sure these folks is clean, cause honey, you don't know what you gonna end up with. Some of these folks is very, they out there.
Hey, Selena. I just want to say, ask you one question, and I also want to tell you something.
Okay.
Don't you think they should castrate a man like that?
Yeah.
Straight up, cut that motherfucker off because he ain't got no control over it. None.
Yeah, and if it's a woman doing that, she should get sentenced too. Like I said,
So it should.
yeah. Because my
Oh
thing
my
is,
God.
you know good. I can see if you don't know, but that's why you need to know about your body and your health. Go and get tested. If you know, don't be ashamed about going and get tested. And a lot of people say, "Well, I can't afford it." There's so many free clinics out there that will you could take tests to see if you have something. So there's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse. So
Well, my oldest son, when he met his now is his wife, she before they did anything, she asked him would he go get tested, and he was a man enough to say yes. And she went and got tested. They went and got tested first.
right.
Yeah, and so if he had said no, if you don't trust me, it ain't got a damn thing to do with trust. It's your life is on the line
Right.
nowadays. You got to think about your life.
Thank you.
It ain't worth all that. And yeah, they got tested and they both were clean, and now they living happily ever after.
I know that's right, honey. Like Hennessy said, what Hennessy said? She said, facts, no loving without a clean bill of health.
And the other thing, that's right. And she said, and she told me this herself. She said, "Well, Mama, the main thing is, uh, if I do end up with something, I know he gave it to me." I said, "Damn, girl." I said, "That yeah, you're right. You're right. You within your human rights to protect yourself."
That
And not
part.
only that, if he gets something, he'll know he got it from you. So yeah,
Right.
that's a good foundation right there.
That's what I'm talking about. Shout out
Mhm.
to her. This is my last video, and then we're gonna hit it. Oh, I'm gonna hit it onto that bed. So
I know that.
I'm gonna play this a little bit. This is pretty interesting. Um, I want y'all to look at it. Look at this. It says a man humbles girlfriend and reveals he won't marry her. How many people? That's not everybody's goal is to get married, but if it's one person's goal to get married and the other person, it's gonna be a problem. So let's see. Let's see this story.
She got down on her knee right now and said, "Will you marry me?"
You're moving too fast. I can't do that. Now. Hold on, man. No.
What's the hesitancy?
Right. No. You want to hear it? I'm being real. I'm just being real.
Damn.
What's up, guys? It's your girl Riva, and I'm back again.
So this is Riva TV. Sometimes I watch her. Sometimes she has good content or whatever. I don't agree with everything she says, but some of the things she has some valid opinions.
With another video. So I actually saw this video on Instagram, and I thought it was not only funny, but it definitely caused for a deeper conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and press play, pause, play, give you guys my thoughts, my feelings, my opinions on this entire situation.
How old are you?
44.
41. And how long have you been together?
Dang, this nigga look sorry. He looked like he about 50. I'm thinking she look a little older than 44, but she still look nice. But dang, I thought he was 50 years old.
Oh,
10 months.
Being that you're in your 40s,
so they've been together for 10 months.
Do you plan on getting married one day, or is it just more of like a long-term partnership kind of thing?
No comment. You never know. I can't say that. I can't say what the future may hold. But I know right now we dating.
He seemed like he drunk. And yeah, he seemed like he drunk. And what they say, a drunk, what is it? Drunk mind tells a sober. I don't know what's that saying about a drunk
they speak
person.
the truth. They speak the truth when they drunk.
Yeah, something like that. But it's
Yeah.
said it's the terminology is different. But anyway, yeah.
we in a relationship. We figuring it out. We pushing forward. But I can't say that far.
Listen,
You said I can't say that far. Like, do you not see yourself with this person? You've been with her for 10 months. So
look at her.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing? So you can look at her face and tell right now she ain't feeling this conversation. And bless his heart, he just oblivious to it. He's just like, well, that's how I feel.
I'm not gonna lie, the way how he was trying to figure out how to articulate the words and they weren't coming out.
Yeah.
I was cackling. Okay. When I first saw it, I was like, this man is something else, because he over there, you know, ready to have the conversation. Obviously, this man is doing street interviews and he walked up all, you know, sure and strong to the mic. But now when he asked him a question, this man just was talking in circles. Okay. Very big circles.
So if she got down on her knee right now and said, will you marry me?
No, you're moving too fast. I can't do that now. Hold up now. No.
What's the hesitant?
If a woman get down on her knees and say, will you marry me? He said, nah, you're moving too fast. Okay. So let's keep going.
See,
Right.
No.
But first,
you know what's hesitant? First of all, you want to know this on podcast? I've been married for 15 years, and then I got out of this for a whole month. I only been divorced for that damn 2 years, and then I still got to.
So here's the thing, right? She's trying to do damage control because she knows that this is a podcast, and I'm sure that she knows that this is going to be in other places, right? She probably is feeling like, I'm going to end up seeing this. So let me go ahead and try to, you know, rearrange this conversation in a way that's not going to make it look as bad. But this man just like, you want me to keep it real? I'm going to keep it real with you. Okay. He said he was married for 15 years and he's only been divorced for 2 years. And with a lot of women who are over a certain age, which I know that they said 41 and 44. I'm not trying to be shady at all, but I don't know if they was just playing or lying or whatever. If they are that age, okay, but it just seemed like maybe they was just kind of joking around a little bit to me. But a lot of these women who get older and they hit the wall and they're in their dating phase, like, you know, over a certain age, a lot of these men who are already in marriages are not really looking to do that again.
Yeah, I have to agree with her on that. I don't see too many men that used to be married, and especially if they've been divorced maybe a year or two. They're not, most of the time, are not in a rush to get remarried. Now, some very rarely have I seen men that they like, you know, whether it could be their wife was just, you know, was deceased or something like that, then they might be more lenient to meeting someone to marry. But it just depends, because some men, they like, I ain't trying to really get it back into that again. And some women like that too. They like, especially if their husband die or they get a divorce, they ain't trying to get remarried. So it just depends on what a person wants. So that's why I guess with them being older, to me it seemed like they should have a conversation on what they both wanted. And if one of them wanted something opposite than the other, then they ought to knew from the very beginning that wasn't gonna work. And just like Machine Fit said, which that's what I was looking for, a drunk man's thought, sober man's words. So a drunk man's thoughts, sober man words. Okay. So it's kind of like whatever comes out when they drunk, that's exactly what they meant.
Okay, especially if it was a long-term marriage, especially if it was a tumultuous situation, if it was a horrible divorce, if they had kids involved, you know, they are looking to go out there and be free. And if something were to manifest into an actual relationship long-term and then they get married, sure, but they have no problem just going out there and having a little, you know, a friend and hanging out, which leaves these women in a space of you're just there to be, you know, hit and quit. I'm just gonna keep her.
Basically. So she gonna be 44 just to hit it and quit it, because he 41 and he's not wanting to be married again. He said he was married for 15 years and he ain't trying to do that shit no more. That's what he said. So If she think his mind is going to change, I would say highly likely it won't. I would be highly surprised if this man in the next month or so saying, I'm gonna marry you. Usually men know what they want. They really know if they want to get married, who they want to maybe marry. They usually have an idea of what they are going to do. And they already know if you're a smash or a pass, right? They already know if you're a wifey or a friend, right? They already know it, for the most part. Sometimes they're still trying to figure things out. But it just depends on the situation and the woman. It's different situations, different outcomes. But for the most part, a man pretty much, if you get to know them, they pretty much kind of know what category they're going to put you in. And you should have a category for them too. I mean, that's just my opinion. Now, I could be speaking out of order, but you need to have an idea. Don't always think that everybody is husband material either. Just because, and somebody was saying this was a good video that I saw today. And I said this is going to be the last one, but some of y'all might not be interested in it. Thank you, Amber, for coming up. I really appreciate you. Yeah, Machine, that straight up tacky suit. I wouldn't have talked to him anyway because I don't like his suit and I don't like that long jacket. It looks old. And it just looks like you said, a Steve Harvey suit.
For real.
No, but at the same time, I gotta still heal. I still got. No, I'm gonna hear. No, I'm telling real. No, since you want to hear it, I'm being real. I'm just being real.
So she got mad and walked away. Okay, because she feels probably humiliated, embarrassed, probably feels small. I don't blame her for feeling small, right? Because he done told her. He done said it, on a platform again that she probably thought that she would see somewhere else. But I'm pretty sure that's not the first time they had the conversation about marriage. And I'm pretty sure that she knew before even, this street interview that he definitely told her that already. Right? Like she already knew where he stand about marriage, his thoughts about it, his opinions, his feelings. I'm almost positive of that.
When you know you're ready, you're ready. You're ready. It don't matter whoever they're with, whether the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, or whoever you with, you're gonna learn it and you're gonna know it and you're gonna just get with it and you're gonna love it and you're gonna say, I'm gonna respect it, and that's it. Goodbye.
Okay,
good night.
So he's telling you, see, she walked away, but he's telling her what it is. So he letting her know if she were to listen, you ain't the one. Basically. Now, I could be wrong, but he just said it right there. You're going to know it. And so for how he feel about her, he ain't trying to know that. He already got it, and it is what it is, but it's nothing more than that. It's pretty interesting, huh? But she walked away, so even if she already knows in her heart that this man doesn't want her as a wife, she should have just stood there just to listen exactly and get it in her thick skull that this man don't want you like that. You just for a good time. It's unfortunate, but it happens, right? That's why you need to listen to what men are saying. Women, we live sometimes in this fantasy world and we think what he's saying, it meant something else, but he's telling you through his actions what it is. You just have to be smart enough to pick up on it. So he told, but the woman walked off.
Thank you.
So here, the man asked him, so if you are going to get married again, like, how would you know, right? Like, what would be the situation that would make you be married again? Is it that you just have a feeling and once you know? And he was basically like, yeah. Like, so again, which would lead me to believe that this woman who he was with, he knows that he don't really want to see a future with.
See? And I haven't even looked at the whole thing. I just looked at the beginning and said, oh, this is interesting. Let me see what, but you see what I'm saying? So he already told her, but she wasn't listening. Well, she knows but she don't want to know. She want to make like it's something else when it's not. Men already tell you what you need to know. You just have to pay attention and stop living in the fantasy world and thinking that it's something that it's not, right? Shout out to everybody that stayed in here. I had kept a pretty good group in here for the time being. Shout out to Amber. Shout out to Rare Money. Shout out to Easy for coming up. Thank you so much, Hennessy, for coming through. I think this is maybe your first or second time coming through. I hope that you like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate you. What's up, Chucky? Chucky Chuck and Mike giving me your testimony of jumping out of the balconies and stuff. And shout out to you. Look, we had a very interesting conversation. We really did. We talked about a lot of things tonight, but I will tell you that one thing about Selena, I don't have low self-esteem to be putting up with people's crap. I'm just not going to do it. And I'm definitely not going to do that with another human being, especially someone that's supposed to love me. And especially for people I don't even know and don't like. So, I'm just like, honey, these type of stories on here where these women put up with all this foolishness. Yeah, that has not ever been my story. And I'm never going to be a person to say, I'll never do this. I'll never put up with that. We all know what we kind of know some of the things we wouldn't do. But at the end of the day, sometimes you don't know until you're in a situation. But, you got to have some type of self-worth about yourself. You got to love yourself to not get yourself into situations or not prolong a situation when you know you should get out of it. I hate to see women and men that prolong being in an abusive relationship, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, because they don't have any self-worth about themselves. They don't have any self-esteem about themselves. That is the worst place to ever be. And shout out to Amber for giving her story. And a lot of times we just need healing in some different areas in our life. And I'm not trying to be a Miss Goody Two Shoes like they try to make me be, hating ass, projecting people. But I'm just trying to be the better version of me at the end of the day. So hate on me if you want to for wanting to be better. I don't give a damn. I'm just gonna say I don't give a damn. Okay, how about that? So you guys be blessed. Love y'all to Reese's Pieces. I might go live later on today, but I am planning on going to the movies. Today it is Saturday. I'm going to the movies with someone, and I'm going to see that new movie called Sinners with Michael B. Jordan. I think that's going to be a real creepy. I'm sorry. I love scary movies sometimes, and I kind of like suspense. I think it's a mixture of both. So I'm gonna be going to seeing that tomorrow. So I might come on a little later and tell y'all about that, because honey, I got to see this. I got to see this. This seems like a very interesting movie. So you guys, I don't know if you've seen, a lot of people on YouTube are talking about this movie. So I'm going to see it tomorrow afternoon. So I'll let you know a little bit later how it was. And if some of y'all have seen the movie, let me know under the comments section, because I'm kind of curious about it. But my curiosity is going to I'm gonna see what it's all about tomorrow. And yeah, should be good. Michael B. Jordan's in it. The guy that played on Creed and what's that? Black Panther, and he played in a lot of movies. I can't think of all the movies he played in, but anyway, I'm gonna be seeing that later on today. So shout out to everybody that came in my chat. Shout out to everybody that helped me to reach my goal. Thank you so much for showing me love. Listen, I do this, guys, for some extra money and for you guys. If I can encourage you, if I can give you some insight, some knowledge, if I can learn from you, that's the reason why I'm on here. I'm not on to beef with people. I'm not on to plead my case with people and make people believe in me and believe my story. People going to believe what they want to believe, and I don't give a hoot at this point. I just want to do my content and I want to do what I'm proud of. And most of all, I want to do what I feel like I've been put on this earth to do. And that's to encourage people. That's one of my spiritual gifts that I want to do, is to encourage people, to let people know, hey, you're not alone. We in this together. We all got issues. We all trying to make it. And that's one of my goals from being on here. And I thank God for some of the people that I have that support me, whether you do it in the bushes. And I'm talking about people that really support me. I'm not talking about people that are being nosy to see who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that really support me, people that have, whether they've donated to me, whether they said some nice comments, just whatever you've done to show your support. I want to say thank you so much, because you are the people that make me want to come on this app. But I definitely felt better sometimes not being on here, not doing content, not having to worry about, watching my back. I definitely felt a lot better. So it's a good thing when you don't see me on here, because either I'm working, either I'm taking care of my personal business, either I'm having fun. But I think it's very important for you, for your mental, to sometimes take breaks and you not feel like you have to, be on live all the time. So mental breaks are good, and it helps you to maintain a balance in your life. So, and I always need that balance. I always tell people my real world, I mean, not to say this is a fake world, but my everyday world, the days, that I don't come on here, is less chaotic. So I enjoy those days where sometimes I don't have to be worried about talking. I don't have to worry about feeling like I have to put on a show. I can just not say anything, or I can just spend time. Sometimes you just don't want to, you just don't have nothing to say. And if you do have something to say, it might not be good. So sometimes that's another thing that I'm learning to do. When it's things that are not good that I want to say, your mouth can definitely put you in more problem. And people are also, they're very sensitive to what you say, but they can say any and everything to you. That's how this world works. Um, and that have from certain people they want. So since so many people are so sensitive and touchy about everything, sometimes if I feel like I'm about to go there with people, I just rather just not say anything and focus on my everyday life, right? Everyday life suits me well. I enjoy everyday life, as far as just being, not having to deal with any chaotic stuff. I mean, in your life, you're gonna always have something, but sometimes social media is draining, right? Because of the people that's in social media, the people that's involved in social media. They will try to drain the life out of you. So you definitely take some time away. And if you feel like you're about to burst in anger and say a whole bunch of stuff that you really meant, and it's not that you scared, you just know that what you might say, you're gonna have repercussions from it. Sometimes it's best to just yeah, just stay away. Okay. So if you don't see me sometimes, just remember, I'm good. I'm good. I just know my limits. And if people would know their limits a little bit more, they wouldn't be so toxic as hell on this app. But because people don't know their limits and they keep going and keep doing and keep being the terrible person that they are, that's why people being in the situations they in. So that's why you will see me even more taking breaks. Cause baby, I am not finna get these people. These folks ain't finna get me with no high blood pressure and no heart attack and no stroke. In the name of Jesus, no. So we ain't doing that. 2025. It's about prospering. It's about evolving. It's about I would say being open to the blessings that God has for you. It's about maturing, taking accountability. It's about a lot of different positive things, growing in different areas in your life. It is not, I'm not going to do a reverse. Even when people try to pull me back in from the past, we ain't doing no reverse. If you want to reverse, you can. I'm not. I'm going forward. So, and nobody's going to hold me accountable for anything because they don't hold themselves accountable. So until we hold ourselves accountable, we can't hold anybody accountable, right? So take care of yourself and worry about yourself. Get your house in order. You might can help somebody else in the future. But until then, don't talk to me. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'm saying that to my supporters, and love y'all to Reese's Pieces. And I hope that you like, share, and subscribe. And forgive me for babbling for another 20 minutes. Talk to you later. Good night. Bye.
Selena.
It's a vibe, baby. Oak Cliff girl, can't make you change my world. Damn, you're so fine, girl. Oak Cliff girl, put them heels on and prove.
Welcome to Selena's Couch, where you are welcome to be free to be yourself. So you can lay your head on my couch, on my pillows.
It's all good, we can do whatever we wanna do now. I'm in my bag right now, and I got a feeling, babe, yeah. You gon' be my number one lover. Spend the night making love to each other, with the lights on top of the covers. Just me and you, babe. And I feel like you're my
love you to Reese's Pieces.
Get you a word. Nana boo boo.